Talk to us about Barrett Brown, the importance of his case, given all the others that we've been dealing with on this show now for many years.
Well, yeah, it's important for two reasons. First of all, it's showing that to some extent all of us could be targets, because the principal reasons that they're going after him with this sort of claim that he was involved in credit card fraud or something like that. I mean, that's completely fallacious. I mean, in effect, what he did was take a link from a chat room and copied that link and pasted it into the chat room for Project PM. That is, he took a link that was broadcast widely on the internet, and it was a link to the Stratfor hack information, and he just brought it to the attention of the editorial board of Project PM. And because there were, for whatever reason, unencrypted credit card numbers and validation codes among those 5 million other emails, the government is claiming that he was engaged in credit card fraud. They're claiming that Project PM was a criminal enterprise. And so basically, for our interest, why this is interesting to us is basically it makes it dangerous to even link to something or to share a link with someone. Go ahead. Yeah,
well,
please.
One of the things that you raise is in some of your writings on this is the incestuous relationship between the Justice Department, the government, and these private firms that are being now targeted by cyber activists. And could you talk about that as well?
Well, sure. A lot of these private intelligence companies are started by ex-CIA, NSA people. Some people come from those agencies and rotate back into the government. I mean, you even see with the case of Snowden, he was actually a contractor for a private intelligence company, Booz Allen. And, I mean, people think about the NSA, FBI, CIA, and they think of those are the people that are doing the surveillance of you and doing this intelligence work. But really, if you look at how much the United States spends on intelligence, 70% of that is actually going to these private intelligence contractors. So, you know, if you add up CIA, NSA, FBI, that's just a tip of the iceberg. So there's all this sort of spook stuff going on in the private realm. And yeah, right, a lot of it is very incestuous, is a revolving door, and no one's investigating it or even talking about it as far as I can tell.
Let's go to Barrett Brown in his own words. In March 2012, Democracy Now! Spoke with Barrett soon after his house was raided.
On March 5th, I received a tip that I was about to be raided by the FBI. I left my apartment here in Dallas and went to my mom's residence here in the same city. Next morning, 3 FBI agents arrived at my mom's place. I went out and talked to them. They said my apartment had just been raided. The door was damaged. They would take care of that. And that they also asked me if I had any laptops with me that I wanted to give them. I said no. A few hours later, the FBI returned to my mom's house with another warrant, this time for her house, and detained the both of us for 3 hours while they searched the residence. They found several laptops I had stashed somewhere in the house and left the search warrants and left another one in my apartment, which I got when I came back here the next day or so. The warrants themselves refer to the information that they're seeking as regarding Anonymous, of course, a few other things of that nature, and also 2 companies, HB Gary and In-Game Systems. Both of these are intelligence contracting companies that Anonymous had a run-in with in February of 2011, during which a number of emails were taken from HB Gary in particular, which themselves revealed a number of conspiracies being perpetuated by those companies in conjunction with the Justice Department and several other institutions, including Bank of America, against WikiLeaks and against several journalists. The time since, I've spent a lot of time going over those emails, researching them, conducting other research, and otherwise trying to expose a number of things that have been discovered by virtue of those emails from HB Gary having been taken. I sincerely believe that my activities on that front have contributed to me being raided the other day and will no doubt contribute to any further action that the FBI decides to take. I would just also note the Justice Department itself is very much intertwined with this issue and has been for a while, and in no way can conduct a fair investigation against me based on what I've revealed, what I've helped to sort of emphasize about them.
That was Barrett Brown, in his own words, just after the raid. Peter Ludlow, talk about what he had released. Talk about what he got from H.B. Gary and how this links to Glenn Greenwald.
Sure. Well, what they uncovered was, I mean, it's actually a little bit subtle, right? It's because it begins with the Bank of America being concerned that WikiLeaks had information on it. Bank of America goes to the United States Department of Justice. The Department of Justice leads them to Hunton and Williams, the big law fix-it firm in the D.C. area, who in turn hooks them up with a group of private intelligence contractors that went under the umbrella Team Themis. And Team Themis had a number of proposals and projects that were exposed in all of this. They included running kind of a PSYOPs operation against the Chamber Watch, which is a group that sort of monitors the Chamber of Commerce, and it was an attempt to undermine it, and Glenn Greenwald and other individuals. And I mean, there were many, many plans that they had, many, many things, but some of the documents released showed that they were saying they were going to create fake documents, leak them to Greenwald, and then when Greenwald eventually released them, they would expose it as a fraud and attempt to undermine him in that way. And they had a similar plan for Chamber Watch as well.
And their concern with Greenwald was that he was giving that his defense of WikiLeaks was giving legitimacy to WikiLeaks that it didn't deserve.
That was the concern, yeah. And they actually said in there, well, he's just a professional journalist and he'll fold under pressure immediately. I mean, apparently they were wrong about that, so yeah.
There were also emails found where these private security firms were assessing the damage that Jeremy Scahill's books had done to Blackwater.
Well, actually, I ran across that in the Stratfor leaks, and that was kind of interesting because they were monitoring this because they were concerned that Blackwater was going to get into the private intelligence business themselves, and they were commenting on Scahill. They go, "Wow, yeah, Scahill's. I don't care much for his politics, but he's really got these guys figured out." Yeah, so that was a little compliment for Scahill, I think. Yeah.
But the amazing thing in all of this is the degree to which these private security firms are engaging in attempts to influence what's going on in the public debate on intelligence.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, one of the most crazy things in the whole thing was when Coca-Cola approached Stratfor, and they were concerned about PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, and why I'm not entirely sure, but one of the people in Stratfor said, well, the FBI has a classified file on PETA, I'll see if I can get it for you. Now that little story sums up a lot of stuff that's wrong about this. First of all, why is Coca-Cola going to a private intelligence company for this? Why did the private intelligence company feel that they had immediate access to a classified file by the FBI? And why did the FBI have a classified file to begin with? I mean, but to me, the creepiest part of that very creepy little story is the fact that the guy at Stratfor felt that he had access to this classified file by the FBI. And the Barrett Brown case revealed something like this as well. It's almost like the FBI has become just another private security firm, that it's become like a private cop for these companies, as it were. And I mean, that's part because of the revolving door. That's part because they get pressed into service for companies that want inside information on activist organizations like PETA.